We start with an unimportant snob character bragging he got a fancy CD player at a super low price. It was so cheap, it's criminal. Ooh, don't say the word criminal around the Hardy Boys. That never ends well.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
This review was commissioned through Patreon. Yes! I was paid to read a Hardy Boys Casefiles book. This is basically my dream job. The Hardys and their friend Tony Prito check out the cheap electronics place. They show up right when some thugs in ski masks are murdering the store's owner. The Hardys sure have terrible timing, huh? They call the police and meet Chief Deputy McReady. He's an angry guy. Years ago, Mr. Hardy busted McReady for planting fake evidence at crime scenes. He was demoted and kicked out of the Cool Cops Club. So he hates all the Hardys forever. McReady refuses to believe what they say, and he orders them off the case. Tony's family members call. Uncle Matt runs a trucking company named Lombard Hauling. Nobody who works at the company is named Lombard, so I have no idea where the name comes from. The culprits have hijacked 3 shipments recently, and the company's going to go out of business if they're not stopped. The Hardys volunteer to solve the mystery. Meanwhile, Dad will investigate the murder victim. Obviously, it's way more interesting for Frank and Joe to play with trucks than it is for them to solve a murder mystery. At the shipping company, we meet Lou Gerard, the angry union organizer, Felix Kinney, the nerdy accountant, and Hal Brady, the angry trucker. Hal is angry because he lost the #1 driver slot to Pat, the boss's sister-in-law. Sorry, Hal, I don't think you can beat her no matter how good you are. There's also a woman named Terry Yarnell who's frightened by a rubber rat. Joe calms her down and he can't help but notice how cute she is. He's happy when he finds out she doesn't have a boyfriend, and normally I would complain that Joe spends more time flirting than investigating. But I am super impressed at how smooth he is when he asks Terry out on a date. I wish my teenage self got dates as easily as Joe Hardy does. The Hardys come up with a plan. Frank and Pat drive a truck of valuable cargo into a secluded area to lure the culprits out of hiding. Tony and Joe follow in the van and catch the culprits by surprise. I'm not sure why they only have 2 teenagers as backup. Logically, they should have loaded their van with a dozen angry truckers ready to fight. I mean, if I knew I had to fight 4 culprits, I would bring at least 5 people to the fight, right? No. Well, the fight ends up being a draw. They save the cargo, but the 4 culprits get away. Hey, you know what this car book needs? More cars! So there's a car chase as the Hardys go home. The culprits catch up to the Hardys at their house, but the car alarm goes off and everybody instantly wakes up. Like, all the lights go on in the neighbors' houses and they come outside to see what's going on because there's a car alarm! I am pretty sure this would never happen in real life, but then again, the Hardys live on this street. This place has to be a hotbed of criminal activity. Matt and Hal get into a fist fight. Matt fires Hal, but Lou threatens to stage a strike unless Hal is rehired. Joe recognizes Lou's got a bodyguard. That's one of the 4 culprits! But Joe doesn't do anything about it. The Hardys decide to repeat their plan of catching the culprits by surprise. Please note this is stupid. If your plan depends on the element of surprise, you can't do it twice in a row. Sure enough, the culprits are prepared for them. They pull out guns and force the Hardys into a convoluted death scene. See, they handcuff Pat to the steering wheel, then they push the truck down a windy road. The idea is that our heroes will fall off a cliff and die, but they don't. Pat easily drives them to safety because she's attached to the steering wheel. But she can't keep control of the truck forever because the trailer's too heavy, so Frank, who's handcuffed to the door, goes outside and uses his feet to unhitch the trailer. He is so manly working on a moving truck. It is a really exciting scene. It's just a weird setup. Deputy McReady finds some fake evidence inside the victim's apartment, and Matt says Lou is a crook. He tried soliciting bribes on multiple occasions. Matt also says the culprit must be someone who knows how to use computers, which is almost everyone. I mean, Almost no one. Nobody knows how computers work, right? The Hardys show up at the office at night. Brady is there. He came to get papers for Lou. It's a trap! The culprits show up and try to shoot our heroes. I have no idea why the culprits didn't use their guns in the earlier murder attempt. That would have made a lot more sense, but whatever. Our heroes dodge bullets and escape by driving away. Felix is revealed as Lou's accomplice, because only a nerdy accountant would know how to work a computer. Well, him and Frank, but Frank is kind of a nerdy accountant. Luckily, Felix is a good guy. He's only helping the culprits because he fell victim to a loan shark. As our heroes note, they could call the police and end everything now, but that wouldn't be satisfying. So they make a plan to capture the culprits. And oh my gosh, it's the exact same plan as last time. Why do they think this is going to work? The culprits almost killed you last time you did this. Why are you doing it again? They're not gonna be surprised when you try to trick them 3 times in a row. Okay, so sure enough, the culprits are ready for them. And this time McCready is revealed as the second culprit. McCready and Lou talk for a bit about their scheme to put the trucking company out of business. Just when they're about to shoot the Hardy Boys, Hal and Tony show up in a truck. Hal hits the guy with the gun while Tony throws a wrench at a villain's head. It kind of sounds like Hal and Tony are murderers. A brawl breaks out. They beat up all the culprits, except for Lou. Lou escapes on a truck. Frank drives up to the truck. Joe jumps out of the car onto the moving truck and punches out the bad guy. He is so manly working on a moving truck. Tony gets a CD player for saving the company, while the Hardys refuse to accept any reward because they're just super good guys. Fighting criminals is reward enough. But seriously, if they could get paid like $600, they would not complain. The end. Post-book follow-up. I thought this book was so-so. It's got decent action scenes and an okay mystery. It's also got the Hardy Boys using the same stupid plan multiple times in a row. And for some reason, the book ignores the murder mystery in favor of trucks. If cars are your thing, you'll probably love this book. I'm not a gearhead, so I didn't find it too interesting. The start of the book was strong, as was Matt's arrest, but the rest of it felt kinda weak and by the numbers to me. I was amused at the 1980s slang in this book, as the Hardys find hot goods at heavy scenes run by bent guys. I thought that was funny. It made me giggle. And the only other note I have is a complaint about Matt. Matt stonewalls the Hardys for a good portion of the book, which is a jerk move on his part. His confession is artificially delayed twice, and when he finally gets around to telling the truth, it made me wonder why he put it off for so long. He didn't really say anything that was very exciting. So, too much build-up for a relatively mild revelation. Like I said, I think this book would be popular with fans of trucks or cars because the Hardys do cool stuff with trucks and cars. But if you don't like the setting, then there's not a whole lot to recommend the book. I'm giving it a below average score. I give Hardy Boys Casefiles number 41, Highway Robbery, a 3 out of 10.